confused. And all of a sudden I heard this, I'm going to tell you this story. And it was like,
not that story. Not that
I'm in the
story.
background here going, no.
Need that red light.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You need the big flash on air.
On air.
Oh, too funny. Tom got his haircut.
I got my haircut, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
For the Festival of Books. Today I'm all about the LA Times Festival of Books.
I was gonna
I
say,
had to get my haircut.
gonna go see people for the first time this week, and you gotta look snazzy. I'm getting my car
Exactly.
washed before I go. Just in case.
Snazzy Festival of Books. I can't. Yeah, it's. So today I'm doing this. So last week I did. Was it last week? Yeah. So I had to do it at the store last week because then I had to run off to an offsite. This time I decided, okay, I'll do it at home, but now I have to leave right after this, head down to the store for an in-store event. So
Life is changing.
no, it's so this doing virtual and doing in-store, it's a lot. All right. I said in the green room, welcome back to Andrea. We're glad to have you back again after a couple weeks. She's been doing sales conference. So I don't need to do anything. It's going to go Andrea, Gabe, Amanda, Tom, Andrea. Oh, I got to do a share screen. Andrea, take it away.
Oh, I didn't know I was starting. Wow. Okay.
You're first, lady.
Woohoo, back in the saddle.
Yeah, just because we're putting you right on the spot.
So when the rest of the crew were talking about all the big new releases, I was gone. So the big new release that week for us is this fantastic book, Young Mungo by Douglas Stewart, author of Shuggie Bain, that won last year's, was it last? No, see, I don't even know. There's been so many that my various publishing companies have won.
Right.
He won, yeah, it was 2 years ago. He won a Booker Prize.
Yeah.
So so this is Young Mungo by Douglas Stewart, $27 hardcover, and this is from Grove Atlantic Press. And this is not a sophomore slump, friends. This is really an amazing novel. Similar setting and setup in it's set in Glasgow. And our young protagonist, young Mungo, has a mother who's wayward and drinks too much and is more interested in chasing after men than taking care of her 3 children. Young Mungo is left to his own devices most of the time, and develops a budding friendship and romance with another young man around his age who is into pigeons and racing pigeons. And that's one arc of the story. He's also set upon by supposedly some nice guys from his mother's, what would you call it?
AA group.
Recovery group, who are not nice and take him on a harrowing camping expedition. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, some beautiful story arcs that all come together. And I just think this is another winner. There's a stack at Warwick's right now with some more on order too, because it's doing so well. So go and check this out. Pick it up if you haven't already. Young Mungo.
It's so good. I mean, it is. Shuggie Bain broke your heart. Young Mungo's going to shatter it. I mean, it is just, it really is. I love that the guys aren't very nice. I mean, you get a little sugar-coated that a little bit there.
Well, I don't want to, you know.
I know.
I don't want to.
But I think it's like, it's,
spoiler.
No spoilers, yeah. But it's, there's some tough stuff that happens. It's a Douglas Stewart book. It's just like, it is, and it is not a sophomore slump. It's
set in Glasgow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be sweetness and light.
It's not like we're not dancing through the flower fields.
It's not classy Edinburgh.
Yeah. I mean, constitutionally, it is like you cannot have a Sweetness and Light story set in Glasgow. It's just not going to happen.
Not gonna happen.
So,
So,
I mean,
yeah,
even a children's book is going to be gritty. Okay.
right. But I
So-
loved it. The not so nice guys. I was cracking. I was like, that's an understatement. Okay, Dave, what do you got?
I have one of my favorite, most interesting authors at Harper, Matt Richtel, who's got a new book. And Matt has written a number of books that are big idea books. And he drills into these big ideas, whether it be science, whether it be technology, whether in this case, he's talking about creativity. So he's poking up around all these things all the time. He's always thinking. He's a really interesting man. Like I said, he's written a number of books on various topics, drilling into and down. And he also writes really, really fun thrillers, really smart, fast-paced, gritty kinds of thrillers. Great airplane kind of books. So if you ever pick up a Matt Richtel novel, it's going to be a lot of fun and it's going to be smart. So he's all over the place. So I think, at my first thinking was, God, man, I see a lot of these inspiration and creativity books come around. I've been doing this a while. I've seen a few things. What makes Matt stand out? And of course, knowing him as I do, I know the mind that I'm dealing with, and I know that he's a very curious person, and he's obviously creative, and he's always thinking. And so I had to give this a look. And it's brilliant. It's quietly brilliant. It's a narrative. It's a narrative telling, and so it's very sitting around the kitchen table, around the living room, kind of absorption of the content of the book, because it's just very easy to sit down and read. And he goes across the board of creativity, from painting to writing to sports, in all levels of life, and then how accessible creativity is. And if you look for it, creative minds are always creating. My wife is always, if she's not writing, she's baking something or designing something or drawing something. And for those of us who want to be creators, it's not far away. We have these blocks that get in our way, but we all manage to find creativity. We all manage to somehow insert creativity in our own lives without really knowing it. And whether it be, I go out and play ball and I work on my basketball game, but I get more creative as I get older and I get slower and find new ways to. So little things like that.
Doing some underhand stuff.
Oh yeah, when you're small, with my left hand now. And when you're at work, people find creative ways of doing their work and creating a workflow and working on it. And then there's people who just aren't,
Right.
And they just aren't. But so it's it's an esoteric kind of a topic. He brings it right down to very understandable, accessible. Accessible being the main thing. It's like right there for you. It's not this. You don't have to have this great pilgrimage. You don't have to invest a ton of money. You just have to act on what triggers you and realize that you kind of do this by nature anyways. And it's kind of hardwired into us. So brilliant. As I said, I recommend anything that Matt writes. Always, again, the kind of book that I talk about all the time. You feel smarter when you've read it because you've learned a lot, and he makes these great connections. So it's not just like, I think you're more creative. He got science, he's got research, he's got numbers. It's not just like, well, I feel like, today's a great day for you to grow because you are good. You're good enough, No, it's science based.
Yeah.
He ain't playing.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing that it's so funny that you brought this book up today, because I saw something on Twitter that basically said the same thing today, and it wasn't about this book, but it's basically like everybody has a creative bone in their body somehow, some way. There is something that, however it manifests itself, so yeah.
Step into it. Just step into it.
Yep. Don't be afraid. You're not going to sell a Andy Warhol painting for $1 million, but you might make
your life a little better,
It might make you feel better. So draw those daisies. We'll run it through daisies in Glasgow. We'll draw some daisies. All right, Amanda, what do you got for us?
Alrighty, so for my first book that I have for you here is going to be from David Baldacci, Dreamtown. Super excited. So for this one, it's the eve of 1953, and Archer is in Los Angeles to ring in the new year with an old friend and inspiring actress Liberty Callahan, when their evening is interrupted by an acquaintance of Callahan's, Eleanor Lamb, a screenwriter in dire straits. After a series of increasingly chilly events, mysterious phone calls, and the same blue car loitering outside her house and a bloody knife left in her sink, Eleanor fears that her life is in danger, and she wants to hire Archer to look into the matter. Archer suspects that Eleanor knows more than she is saying, but before he can officially take on the case, her dead body turns up inside of Eleanor's home, and Eleanor herself disappears. So there we go. As always, David Baldacci, fun to read, action-packed, exciting, and set in the 1950s old Hollywood style. And you can definitely see that from the cover there as well. So yeah, there you go, David Baldacci.
All right.
Great cover.
Great cover.
Right.
And I can't believe I'm going to do this, but I'm actually going to plug another store's event because I was just like, okay, how come we didn't get this? But it's like,
Julie.
whatever. I know.
Okay.
A little pissed off because it's a virtual event, but Baldacci is going to be with Robert Craze virtually. It's, and you don't have to pay anything at Broman's. So you can go to
Oh,
Broman's,
didn't
sign
realize
up on
that.
Crowdcast and watch. Because I think that would be a great event with Robert and David.
Two
So
old pros, yeah.
I
Yeah.
know. So little, never mind.
Well, we got
We're
I'll get
a
over
happy
it.
independent family. Let's just say
Yeah.
that we're a happy
Yeah.
independent
Yeah.
family.
And I will,
parcel
will
them out, Julie.
gotta
Nice
buy
try,
that.
Amanda.
I guess, I'm just a little
Right.
selfish and I want all of them, but
We gotta share the wealth.
I was never good at sharing. I'm the baby in the family. So
Did
We're
you
not
stomp your
surprised.
feet? Did you stomp your feet? And like,
oh, I just
like,
always,
go
I
like
just
this?
always had dead shark eyes. I always just gave a look. So
I wouldn't have messed with you as a
yeah,
child.
I was kind of a big pain in the ass. So,
No
but
way.
anyways, Baldacci, I think it's you can go over Roman's side. I think it's next week sometime. But
That sounds
anyways,
fun.
oh, I think it might be. Wait a minute, no, you can't go to that one because it might be the same day as our Don Winslow event. So never mind. No, just teasing, just teasing. Let me see. And Tom, hold on one second. Yeah, it is next
Sure.
Tuesday. Whatever. If you're not in San Diego, you wouldn't be coming to Don
Yeah.
Winslow anyway. So there's that. Tom, Arlene is on, Arlene Lieberman's on here, and she says she think it was a Penguin Random House book. It might not have been yours, but it might have been. Take My Hand. Was that yours?
Oh, I was going to talk. Did I already talk about that? I was going to talk about that today.
Oh, why don't we? She just said, want to let you know that it's wonderful and will stay with her for a long time and I
Oh,
hope rises to the
wonderful.
top of the charts. So there
Oh,
you
that's
go.
excellent. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about it later too.
Okay, well, there you go. Well, now
There's
it's
a
your
nice
turn to talk
intro.
about, yeah, there you go.
It's my book.
It's your turn. Okay.
So no, Take My Hand is my book.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's my
book.
turn. It's
My turn. It's my book. You're sounding like me now.
It's all me, Julie. I gotta work on the shark eyes though. I don't have that down. My first book is This Is Such an Easy Sell, Blood Sugar. So the tagline is she's accused of 4 murders. She's only guilty of 3. It's totally irresistible. So you start off with Ruby, who's the main character. She's in a police interrogation room, and they're showing her the pictures of the 4 people she's killed. She recognizes 3 of them as people she did kill for various reasons. But the 4th one, her husband, no, she didn't do that. So fantastic setup. It's also one of those books where you're trying to decide, do I believe Ruby? Do I not believe Ruby? It's comic, but also just a real suspenseful page turner.
Mm.
First, I'm pretty sure this is a first mystery by Sasha Rothschild. And she's up until now been a TV writer. She's done lots of TV for Netflix. She wrote on Glow and other shows like that. This I gotta think this will be on TV at some point because it's such a great setup. Early reviews are really fantastic. PW, Publishers Weekly, called it mesmerizing. And I'm pretty sure, although I couldn't find it, I'm pretty sure Adrian at the store, who is she's such a good she finds the best mysteries. Like
She really does.
she knows which ones are the good ones, and she's a fan of this one. So Blood Sugar, and you can tell from it's the author lives in LA, but this is Miami. The setting is Miami. So it's really fun.
Love it. Oh God, whatever I was just going to say. So, it reminds me of, or is anybody watching, or did anybody watch the thing about Pam?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It kind of reminds me of that, where it's just
That's
like,
true. I hadn't thought about that. You're right. Yes.
Then it was the Dateline thing that this woman but Renee Zellweger starred in like this limited miniseries thing. She did a fantastic job. But anyways,
Yeah.
that's what that sort of reminded me of when you said
Totally.
she did 3 of them, but not 4, because that woman was out of her freaking mind.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Andrea, back to you.
Thanks, guys. Okay, so I want to talk about this book. Let me see. I have like things going. Can you see this?
Yep.
Thin
Yes.
Places. This is a galley. It's looking better than this, but this is the galley. And this is called Thin Places, A Natural History of Healing in Home by an Irish writer, Carrie Ní Doctarta, from Milkweed Editions. Don't ask me to pronounce that again, okay?
Won't do it.
This is $25 hardcover, and it is along the lines of all Milkweed titles, most Milkweed titles. They're very concerned and published into nature writing in the main. They do a lot of poetry as well. And you might remember this great book. It's just so beautiful, Braiding Sweetgrass. This is the collector's edition, but this is another one that we think has that kind of potential here. This is really beautiful, and it's basically a blend of memoir, history, and nature writing, where the author explores how nature kept her sane and helped her heal and overcome violence and poverty during the Troubles in Ireland. So, we're moving over a little bit, just bumping over a little bit geographically from Glasgow, Scotland to the Troubles in Ireland. And this book, it is so gorgeously written. It's just one of those special books that if you read it, you're going to buy it and give it to people. Booksellers want to hand sell this. We're getting some amazing early reads from this. And let me just read you what Robert Macfarlane says about this. He says, the great British naturalist and nature writer, he says, a remarkable piece of writing. I don't think I've ever read a book as open-hearted as this. It resists easy pieties of nature as a healing force, but nevertheless charts a recovery which could never have been achieved without landscape, wild creatures, and thin places. And that's the author's phrase for the special places in nature. It is also flocked with luminous details, moths, birds, feathers, skulls, moving water. Carrie's voice is utterly her own, rich and strange. I've folded down the corners of many pages, marking sentences and moments that glitter out at me. Wow. So if you're at all interested in a blending of memoir, history, and nature that many people are calling luminous, luminescent. So there's definitely something about the writing here that basically glows right off the page. This is a book for you. This is Thin Places, A Natural History of Healing in Home by Carrie Ní Doctarta. $25. This is from Milkweed Editions, and this was out April 12th. So it's in the store now.
That sounds like an Adrian book too.
Yeah, and I just, I haven't seen a finished copy, but I know it's going to look beautiful with that kind of glowing
luminescent kind of the blue. Yeah.
There's like a moth in there. So
no, it's probably going to be a great package. So
yeah,
excellent. Okay, Gabe, what do you got?
Well, I got a mess. Done. I'm good. Just got to reorg. Let's try looking for some illustrations for this. Sweet Paris by Frank Adrian Baron. this is a great story. This is one of these lovely little books by an expat American in Paris, who found a home and found a career baking, I guess, American French fusion baking is what Frank has done here. So,
Yum.
set himself up in Paris and, started taking the tour of the many patisseries and sampling Napoleons and financiers and whatever, boulangerie, with everything. And he, dived in head first. But after a while, he started missing his home, the basic things that mom used to make and apple pie and basic things like that. So he started baking and hosting like afternoon coffees and cake parties, and little by little, and with Instagram, he kind of blew up, and he's just done this great job creating French inspired American desserts and French desserts with American ingredients. So kind of mixing the ingredients and mixing the styles. There's 59 recipes included in here. And they're all wonderful. So you got a lot of butter. We're going to start with that. Just different kinds of, some French, some technique that is, classical French. He'll bring over and he'll do a tart or a tort of some sort, maybe in that style with some American ingredients, and vice versa. So, flexible, fun, multicultural. And also, how to set a table and how to, create a wonderful cheese plate, and how to, find the perfect flowers and arrangement. It's a really lovely, entertaining book, great lifestyle book, great hostess gift anywhere you go. I think, if you're a baker, I got to get this for Deb, because we're going to have to explore this baby a little bit.
It's the cover is beautiful. Are there
more pictures, please?
I
More
know.
pictures.
Are the pictures inside as good as that cover? Because that cover is amazing.
Oh my God, I didn't even mention the photography.
Yeah.
I was looking for some inserts because the photography is good. But Joanne Pye did the photography, and she's really well known. So the art, the interior design, beautifully designed, and the images are really, really amazing.
Yeah. So that
Joanne's
is
top drawer photographer.
That book it's beautiful. I can think Mother's Day. I mean, that's gonna be one of those, just like center that on your cooking table, and you'll
not to take away from the recipes, but the photography actually adds a lot to this book, honestly.
Yeah. No, I want one. Hint, hint, if any of my kids are watching this.
I'll be
right now.
sending around.
I mean, anybody who's interested in Paris is going to like this book, not just
Sure.
bakers, for sure.
Right.
Because of that
You could
sense of
set.
place.
I can see a great Mother's Day display with some other Paris book. There's all kinds of Paris books out there, and put that.
This
thing
is a
on
book
it.
you open up and you can enjoy while you're standing in line waiting to pay for it. It's got stuff. You can be. There's some good narrative in there and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's fun.
love
It's a really great looking book. Great little book.
good book. Okay, Amanda, what do you got?
Alrighty. So my next book, I have Abby Jimenez, a Part of Your World. I do love a very nice rom-com whenever I can. And actually, Abby's one of her previous books was one of the first books I listened to on Libro FM. Don't forget, check it out. So for this book, again, a lovely rom-com. Alexis Montgomery has her world turned upside down, and the cause, Daniel Grant, a ridiculously hot carpenter who's 10 years younger than her, and the complete opposite of this really sophisticated city girl, Alexis, and yet their chemistry is undeniable. While her ultra-wealthy parents want her to carry on the family legacy of becoming a world-renowned surgeon, she's like, that's okay. I can fine being just a mere, according to her parents, ER doctor. But every minute she spends with Daniel and the tight-knit town where she lives, she's discovering what's really important. Yet letting this relationship become anything more than a short-term fling would mean turning her back on her family and giving up the opportunity to save thousands of people. again, I just love a really nice rom-com. I love Abby Jimenez. She's a fantastic writer, and I definitely enjoy all of her books. So there you go. If you want a nice, relaxing, beachy read, there you go.
And the rom-com world is just exploded. So, and I think it's one of those things where it's just like, they're very consumable. So everybody's looking for a new one because you can read them relatively quickly. So good to have lots of options. So thanks
Yep.
for that.
Love them. Just like a little
Yes.
Hallmark movie for me.
Yeah,
Love
just
those
like
too.
a pet. Yeah, just like fun little story. We all need those. And that's the thing with it. I'm not going to show how ignorant I am. Anyways, never mind. So Tom,
Maybe later, Julie.
maybe later, maybe off camera, I'll divulge what I didn't really know about romance.
Oh, I want to hear.
Okay.
So we were talking about Take My Hand because we already have at least one fan.
Yep.
So Take My Hand by Dolan Perkins Valdez. This is a really strong historical novel. It's fiction, but it's based on fact. Set in Montgomery, Alabama, 1973, and it's based on a real life case. I mean, we're talk about being ignorant. We're all so ignorant of our history, and so I knew nothing about the forced sterilization of. I think I read over 100,000. It was connected to welfare recipients and people of color who were taken advantage of. So this is based on a real life pair of sisters who were 12, I think they're 12 and 14, 12 and 13, who their parents didn't know what they were signing, and they were and forced sterilization. So it's told through a nurse's story who's there. And this is all happening in Alabama in the early 70s, just as the Tuskegee experiment was being uncovered and talked about. So, that's kind of in the air of the book, as the events of the book are unfolding. So it's a nurse who is looking back now on that period, and then so both present and past, she weaves together. Really an incredible. If you like this kind of book, this is a really excellent, example of good historical fiction. There was a remarkable Washington Post review that said just this weekend, Take My Hand reminds us that truly extraordinary fiction is rarely written merely to entertain. More often, the novelist builds the story like a house, then opens windows, slams doors, demolishes walls to reveal all its boards and bones laid bare right under the surface for the reader. Perkins Valdez has done a fine job of building a structure that will not only endure, but also bear the weight of future writers yearning to bring the past to readers afresh. So it's getting those kind of reviews. And then I just looked at her Twitter feed before jumping on, and one of our favorite, of course I'm drawing a blank, who is our favorite historical fiction novelist here on Tea Time, who's local to San Diego, I think.
Kate Quinn.
Yes, Kate Quinn, thank you. So she tweeted about this book because she saw it in the airport on her many travels, and she said, spotted the book at the airport on my way to Florida. I absolutely love this book, which casually ripped my still beating heart out of my chest and stomped on it. You absolutely 100% want to order this book. So if Kate Quinn also concurs, then I think we have a winner. So
I think you got a winner.
Yeah,
wow.
Just on sale.
And now I understand Arlene's comment too about how it stays with her. I mean, a topic like that,
yes.
and done like that would stay with you long after you're done finishing a book like that.
Yeah, and it's it's a very serious novel at the same time.
She's a really, really fantastic writer. She was at Harper with her early books,
Wrench,
which did really well. Actually, I was just digging for it, and it looks like we might have let it go out. I don't know why doesn't show up anywhere as in print, but that is a really, really great novel that got a lot of like organic literary attention from reviewers and sent her over the top. And then she did a second book called Bomb that's still available. But
was it Wench? She said her first one was Wench.
First one was Wench.
Okay.
Which is hard to find.
Also,
Bomb is available, but I don't know
both
why.
Also historical, right?
Both historicals.
Yeah.
But she can write. She really is a really fine writer, and she doesn't write a book. She writes a book when she's done, and she feels it's done.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that this is getting really good reviews because she's a terrific
writer,
a terrific person.
Wow. Very good. All right. Andrea, lightning round.
Yep. Let me see. Okay.
Ooh.
I somehow found out on my very, very like crowded desktop. So I want to talk about The Coast of California by Obi Kaufman. This is basically an epic, gloriously illustrated journey up and down the California coastline. Obi wrote a California field atlas. That was his first beautifully illustrated book. We sold about 40,000 copies of that, or, you know, the publisher did, with various sundry help from sales reps. And then The Forests of California, which I talked about, I don't know, probably, goodness, a year and a half ago or so. We've sold 11,000 of that so far, so that's going strong. And I think this one is going to, you know, just reach up there into the 40,000 range, because who doesn't like the coast of California, especially a store like Warwick's based on the coast of California. And this is about, it's $55. It's about 675 pages long. And every page basically has some of this, some of Kaufman's gorgeous watercolor work, charts, and then full color illustrations as well. So, I mean, come on, you know, this is great. Of course, people are going to want this as a gift, but I would, you know, definitely want this on my shelf, or on my coffee table for sure. So that's The Coast of California, $55. It is out tomorrow. It's in the store now. There's no hard and fast street date on it. So if you wanted to run down to Warwick's this afternoon, you could pick it up. Coast of California. Yeah.
Is it a big, like, is it a not an oversized, but it's a coffee? Oh, there you got it. Okay. There
It's
you got it.
like these smaller, like, but
Oh,
really,
got it. Okay. Love that.
yeah.
Okay.
So this is The Forests. And
Yeah.
then this is the first one he did, the California Field Atlas. And, you know, you can see they're chunky. They feel good in your hands. It's like a nice, like soft, I mean, it's rigid, but like soft, you know, flexi cover. And, you know, collect all three of those.
Yeah.
And in 2023, talking about a guy who like has somehow like just, you know, like gone straight into his creativity mode. The Deserts of California is coming out in 2023. So he's painting up a storm right now.
Wow. Those, the illustrations look amazing.
Yeah, they're really amazing books. So
They're like field guides, right? They're like field guides as well. It's very cool.
yeah. So like it, you know, gives, you know, it's got great information. You know, it's got listings of places too as well. Like, you know, you can see it's got lists. So,
but I love the illustrations, at least for me. It's just like, it helps, because if it's just data, it's just like, you kind of like start losing it, where it's like when you have something else for your eye to go to, that's always
I agree. I just think it helps convey the information.
And I like the illustrations. I mean,
way.
not that I don't like the photos, but I like the illustrations sometimes. I think it's just, those are nice to have.
It's classy package, I think so. And that's
All
from
right.
that's from Heyday Press. I
Okay.
forgot to say that.
Okay. All right. Okay, Gabe, what do you got for us for Latin round?
I'm gonna lining it up here with a familiar author to many of us, Meredith May, whose previous book was a really, really fun sell. She's just a terrific writer. So she wrote The Honey Bus, which was a book about her growing up with her grandfather. Great voice. Growing up in Monterey, her grandfather was like a bee, not exterminator, but he would get rid of bees on properties. And it's a rollicking read. And it had some depth in that it explains a lot of Meredith, who grew up with a mom who was very dysfunctional and couldn't care for her, which is why she's living with her grandfather. So her story continues here. And, you know, there's a lot of dog books out there, and there's just a lot of dog books out there. I kind of tend to stay away from them, but knowing Meredith's story, I gave this a look, and I really enjoyed the Honey Bus narrative. I had to give this one a look, and we got a great quote from Stephen Rowley, of the Gunkel, which is out in paperback everywhere. He really likes it. And what Meredith does is she's got this really warm style of writing, and she brings you into her world. And it's she lives up in Carmel, so it's a lovely place to be when you're with her. And she provides these really lovely moments with this great writing. And that's, you know, every once in a while you get like a sock, a sock in the gut, and she punches you right there and hits you with a heavy moment that then she comes up, then you come up for air a little bit as she brings some lightness to the story. Yeah. This continues her story of, her issues because of her mother. Trauma lingers, generational traumas, things like that. And she had a bad mom, and she had left some scars. And as she's moving on, she and her wife adopt this cute little dog, Edie, who they plan to have the quintessential dog experience. But sadly, Edie is a really, really scared dog. She just, loud noises rattle her. She can't be alone, and the longer she's with them, the harder it is for her. They can't leave her. She's really anxious. She gives her like CDB gummy. She takes her to like a mystic. I remember giving my dog like acupuncture and massage therapy and stuff.
The things we'll do for our dogs.
That expensive dog, man, Spencer.
The dogs, they add up, and they're very cute. And but even a dog that's as damaged as Edie, brings salvation to Meredith. She starts taking from Edie, and together they sort of bond and create this. As dog owners, who understand what how dogs get under your skin and how you get so attached to them because they're just so innocent and real, and they love you more than anything. And she gets that from Edie. So it's a touching narrative. Great writing and a lot of fun from an independent bookstore favorite. Most of the sales we had some really good sales for the Honey Bus, and something like 45-50% were from independent bookstore chains.
Adrian loved Honey Bus. So I'm going to plug something for actually it is our event. It's not another store event this time.
La Playa.
Yeah, it's not another store event. Voices for Children. So she's coming. She's their keynote speaker. So we're going to provide and sell books. We're selling that one and Honey Bus at I think it's May 7th in Del Mar. So if you're in the area and you want to support a great cause, Voices for Children is a great organization. I don't know, Amanda, if you have a link. Yep, she just put in the link there. So that's a great, and you get to hear Meredith. She's going to be talking about Honey Bus, but we'll have her dog book there for her to sign too. So there you go. There's a little plug for Meredith.
Be fun.
Yep. Okay, Amanda, what do you got for our lightning round?
All right, so for my last one, I have Aru Shah and the End of Time, but graphic novel format, which is super exciting. So the Aru Shah is one of a very popular series from Roshani Chokshi. Oh, I butchered that so bad. I apologize. I love Roshani's other books. And Aru Shah is a fabulous. And so now what we've decided to do is bring that into the graphic novel format. So as you see here, and I got a couple of interior images to go with it. Middle grade novel, super excited for this. So I love graphic novels. I think they are a wonderful tool for educators. So any books that we can get in graphic novel format, especially one that is so as much loved as the Aru Shah books are, I'm happy to see. So there we go. Right here we go, the Aru Shah and the End of Time graphic novel. And this is book 1 of the series in graphic novel format. So
perfect. Yeah, it is a great format for kids. It really is.
You know what? I love graphic novels, and I love that I've seen how graphic novels have grown over the last decade. It's just phenomenal. And I'm a huge fan of graphic novels. And I enjoy reading graphic novels myself all the time. So
there you go. Your romance, and then you go to the graphic.
Romance. I'm all over the place.
There's that Putin graphic. The Putin graphic bio is really interesting and really a fun read. If you see, I forget who did it, but we have it floating around.
Oh, I gotta look at that one.
Interesting.
know.
Yeah, it was really quick, breezy read, but in the format, interesting. I read comics growing up, and I've read some graphic novels, but this one, I just, you just run right through it.
Right, yeah.
Wow, you learn a lot.
Okay, Tom, bring it home.
All right. So since we're plugging other events,
Thank you. There
this
you
was
go.
This was the pullout from this week's LA Times for this huge section around the Festival of Books coming this weekend. So if you're not in LA, just go online and peruse all the participants. It's a who's who.
Is it?
Yeah, it's incredible. And so the author Take My Hand will be there, and the author Grace Lee, the author of the next book, will also be here. So she Portrait of a Thief. So this is like, I'm glad I didn't present it a couple of weeks ago when it came out, because it is kind of a runaway success. I mean, it's first novel. This is very rare. It's been a while since I've been able to say first novel that debuted on the New York Times bestseller list in its first week on sale.
Wow.
So it's hitting a nerve. And I think what it is, well, first of all, it's a heist novel. So there are not enough heist novels. There aren't enough heist movies, if you ask me. And so that you start there. She's a fascinating story herself, because she's a 26-year-old medical student at Stanford. And in her spare time during COVID, she had the idea and she wrote a novel. And it's a heist novel with, with a little bit of weight behind it, a little bit of conscience, because it's about the main character is a Harvard art history student, Chinese American, who's commissioned by a billionaire to steal back Chinese art that was originally stolen from China. So you've got a little bit of colonialism thrown in there, but she never loses sight of the heist part of it. So you've got a con artist, a thief, a getaway driver, and a hacker, all from the same Harvard group of friends who try to pull this off. It's the second book from Phoebe Robinson's new imprint with us called Tiny Reparations. So that's their first, bestseller. And just really, if you're in the mood for something fun, but it has a little bit of weight to it, Portrait of a Thief with this very cool cover.
And I agree. I love the heist novels. I think that they're so good. And Gabe, it doesn't sound like this author needs to have your creativity book at the beginning. She's a med student writing a novel.
Just sat down and wrote something. Knock off a novel.
Knock off a novel in my spare time.
That's what we all thought we were going to do during COVID, and we didn't do it.
I just kept watching Lord of the Rings on repeat. So.
I pretty much wore Netflix and Hulu and Redbox out.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, this will be a Netflix. This has already been bought by Netflix. I think they're starting it. And I think in addition to writing novels and becoming a doctor, I think she's helping to work on the actual show.
Wow.
I mean, I guess she doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
I guess not. I'll ask her this weekend at the festival if I see her.
And Tom, I'm going to make everybody jealous. I'm almost done with Celeste Ng's new book.
Ooh. Yes. Everybody should be jealous. Coming this fall, our biggest book of the year.
And it is that's the perk of being a bookseller, man. You get to do some of these, like you get some good early stuff.
We can't wait to talk about it with you. It's a powerful novel.
Really good. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen because that's what I've been doing. I think I did the right one this time. Yeah, look at that. Did I do it? Yes, there we are. So great events coming up. So tonight, Susan Meisner, if you're in San Diego, run over to the store because that's what I'm going to be doing as soon as I get off of this. But Thursday, we've got Grant Ginder. I love Grant. He's hilarious. If you don't follow him on Twitter, please do. He's a riot. People We Hate at the Wedding was his first book and had a great event with him. He'll be at the store. We're doing a luncheon with him too. And then Don Winslow's beginning of a trilogy coming out next week. We're hosting him on release day. So City on Fire on Tuesday. So if you're in San Diego, come see Don. And then what else do I got going on here? Looks like I've got Kathy Diamant, Heart of the Zoo, which is about I'm going to mess it up. So never mind. I'm not even going to try to talk about it. Adriana Trigiani. We got lots of good stuff going on at Warwick. Like I said, fear of missing. I mean, I want it all, baby.
Don't forget about Kim Dower, Kim from LA.
Kim from LA. I forgot, and I was going to go back to that, but now I can't because the page is gone.
Is that in person or virtual?
Kim's in LA. Yeah, Kim's coming down. she's a great poet. So she's just a hoot to have at the store. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
love Kim.
Yeah, one of the true characters in publishing, and there's a lot of us.
Yeah.
So,
She
Let's
and
give
she
her
Have
Ever.
among them.
well, speaking of Robert Craze, I think she's Robert Craze publicist. So it's
She
just
is.
like, so there's all kinds of connections there. So we love Kim. All right,
Yeah,
everybody.
amazing.
Another great week of recommendations. Thank you, everyone. So Tom, we may or may not be seeing you next Monday after you're done with the festival.
I know. We'll see. I might roll in. I don't expect much though.
Okay, because that is an exhausting weekend, but
Yeah.
I bet everybody's so excited for it to be back in person.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And clearly the authors are excited because there's a lot more than
Yeah.
ever.
Wow, fantastic. All right, gonna take us off Facebook and gonna stop the recording. Bye, everybody. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, everyone.